2 years ago, I started reading crime fiction, mostly about... Shh. Hey guys, what's up? It's Natasha and welcome back to this week's video. Today I will be talking about how you can get over your reading slump. I recently talked to my sister the other day and she mentioned that she's been in a reading slump for quite a while. And so I decided to compile a list of what I think can help you get out of your reading slump. So the first piece of advice I can give you is choose a book with a good review. There are a lot of social media pages where you can find good book reviews. The best one I can mention is Goodreads. Second place you can go, if you love watching your favorite booktubers, if you love finding, inspiration from them, if you like the type of books they read, I highly suggest you go watch some of their videos of some of their book hauls, some of their book reviews and which books they like. Some booktubers I know also like to do weekly vlogs where they list a few of their favorite books. Another favorite place I like to go to is BookTok. They have fantastic reviews. Some of the reviewers actually do it in first person, like they are the character. And there are some like the Unhoneymooners. I got it. I have to read it. But that was thanks to BookTok. My second piece of advice, avoid series, avoid trilogies, avoid even duologies. Just avoid a long series in general. 3 books, 2 books, find a standalone book. Because when you read a series, once you get past the middle of the first book, you feel like you're not accomplishing anything. You're losing interest really fast in these books. And I still have Inkheart, the trilogy, to finish. I tried reading that in my reading slump and I only got there. And I still have a lot more to do. You lose interest very fast. You feel like you're losing the characters, you're losing yourself, and then you just give up and you're like, no, I'd rather not read this. I would read something else. And then, the whole process starts over again. Third piece of advice I can give you, and this is something that actually helped me get over my reading slump, reread some of your old favorite books. I, for example, read the Hunger Games trilogy again, and that got me to read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and now I'm on the Lunar Chronicles, and it's just, reading old favorites is like going back to an old friend, reliving those memories, or going back to an old house if you moved, say, 5 years ago. The familiarity, just the warm feelings it gives you. You also relive the memories while you're reading the book. You remember what you thought that day. You remember what you thought while reading that passage. And you also see things that you missed, the first time you read it or the second time you read it. Small little details that actually pull you into the book and you're like, oh, so this makes sense now. That usually happens with me when I read it the third or the fourth time. I like to revisit my books, and there's nothing wrong with that. Fourth piece of advice I can give you, read an easy read. Read a thin book, read, minimum pages, 150 pages. Middle grade books are a great way to do this. Also books with large prints. For example, the Inkheart trilogy has large print. It's just a brick to get through. I'll get to it. I promise. I'll get to it.
You're lying.
Also, rereading a thin book or just a simple standalone book, it makes you feel like you're accomplishing something. So when you read a singular book, it just opens up a new world for you, and you decide that maybe you should carry on with reading other books, and then eventually you can move to your trilogies. Try a different genre. When you open up a new genre, you enter a new world of imagination. You open new doors and you walk through. It's going to be unfamiliar, but I can assure you, you won't be disappointed. You may also unlock something you really start loving. For example, 2 years ago, I started reading crime fiction, mostly about... Shh. 2 years ago, I started reading crime fiction, mostly from James Patterson, and I've started accumulating his books slowly but surely. I even got my dad to start reading James Patterson books, so I count that as a win. My next piece of advice, cut down your screen time. Mostly, and this was only because of my doing, not anyone else's, I am to blame here, 3/4 of the time last year and half of this year, I sat watching YouTube videos. You know, I would find myself on Sims 4 building videos or Sims 4 Let's Plays. Yes, that's what sucked me in. Let's Plays. Anyway, and also, I almost said BookTok. TikTok. TikTok is the most time-consuming thing that I have realized. I would sit and say, I'm going to watch videos for 5 minutes. Half an hour later, I'm still watching. So I started cutting down on my screen time. Not so much today. And that also gave me an opportunity to actually start reading more books. And I gotta say, I'm not disappointed in cutting down on my screen time. If you are keeping track of how much you read on Goodreads, on your bullet journal, or just mentally, don't break yourself down when you don't get to that number. I know it's an accomplishment when you say, I set a target for 52 books this year and I've read 53 perhaps. It feels like you accomplished something, but don't make it a chore for yourself, because that's when you start losing interest. That's when you don't want to do it anymore, and then you start your reading slump all over again. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope it motivated you to actually maybe pick up that book that has been gathering dust on your bookshelf. If you have any plans on reading something, drop a comment down below, like this video, and if you want more daily content, follow me on Instagram and I'm trying on Twitter, but it's a social media app that I barely use. But follow me on Twitter. Maybe it'll motivate me to actually start posting stuff. And I'll see you guys next week in another video. Bye!